Hey my zombies, welcome back to the Conjurer's Table. Today I'm going to be filming a segment interviewing my good friend Alex, who is a Strega. Now Strega is a form of Italian witchcraft, and we're going to be going through what it is all about. So if you're interested, keep on watching. Hey guys, welcome to the Conjurer's Table. I'm here with my good friend Alex, and we are going to talk a little bit about his practice. He is an Italian witch who practices Strega. So Alex, what is Strega?
Strega is an Italian version of witchcraft. Stregeria means witchcraft, literally translated. Stregoneria, which is the old version of Italian witchcraft. And we also have what we call the La Vecchia Religione, which means the old religion.
Oh, that's interesting.
A lot of today's practices, Wicca, Voodoo, Hoodoo, Santeria, derived from what I practice today. It's ancient European, goes back to the Etruscans, goes back to Roman times, goes back to the ancient Celts before they hit Ireland. That's the basis of many different witchcraft traditions.
So how does Strega vary from like the witchcraft that everyone basically knows?
The Wicca tradition?
Yeah.
It predates that by thousands of years. Wicca is a New Age religion, probably not even 100 years old. Started by Gardner and Aleister Crowley, if you're familiar with those names. It's just a very new religion compared to Strega, which goes back, predates Roman times.
Yeah.
By probably 2,000-3,000 years.
Okay. So Strega is more of like the root
of many different cultures.
And then Wicca is more of like the New Age.
The New Age.
So it's kind of similar to Voodoo, or let's put it this way, West African Voodoo is the root of everything, and then New Orleans Voodoo is more the Newer Age.
Right, so when the Spanish came over, the Portuguese, the English, they brought with them their versions of Strega. And that's what mixed into the West African traditions, and you got Santeria. Yeah. Or Voodoo, or because a lot of our tools are the same.
Oh, yeah, that's what I've noticed.
So it's...
Now, how long have you been practicing for?
So within my family, my grandparents did things. There's stories of my great-grandmother taking off the evil eye. So they would be considered the Strega of the family. Usually it's passed down within the woman.
Yeah.
But nowadays, it goes down to any who wants to practice that tradition.
Okay. Now you just mentioned something about the evil eye. What is the evil eye?
The evil eye, in many different traditions, we call it malocchio, which means the bad eye, or roughly translated evil eye. Somebody who is very jealous. Say if I'm jealous of you because you have something and I want that something, my jealousy can translate to the evil eye and you can become sick or something bad happens.
Oh, okay. That's quite interesting.
So it's almost like a curse or a hex.
Yeah.
But we don't deliberately do it in most cases. It just happens.
Now, if you are cursed with the evil eye, is it difficult to remove it?
Not difficult at all. So within Strega or Streghe, I'm a Stregone. So Strega is the female version, Stregone is the male version of witch. Or you have Maga, which means female magician, or Mago, which is the male magician. Evil eye, we all wear our charms, which is the cornuto, or the corno.
Kind of looks like a chili pepper.
It's actually the horn of Pan.
Oh, okay. That's really cool.
Goes back to ancient Roman times. Everybody thinks it's
goat,
a pepper.
or the half
goat.
goat, half man, right?
Yep.
Cool.
Or Hern, I think he's called in the Roman tradition. I call him by the Greek version of Pan. Just easier for me.
Yeah. That's cool.
Yeah.
Now, what got you down this path, or what got you interested in practicing?
It's just a family tradition. It's just something that you were brought up with, very superstitious family. Like, how do I explain? The way you're cooking, a lot of the Strega traditions happen in the kitchen. modern witchers like me will bring it more into more modern days. We will incorporate Wicca traditions or celebrating certain holidays and rituals. There was no big rituals to the older Italian women. It's how they cooked and how they stirred a pot, how they prepared something. Ingredients using, like, if you notice the table, there's garlic and chili peppers, and it's their intention.
Yeah.
You can put intention into anything, and it's magic.
That's good.
That's how that works.
Now, because I know in a lot of traditions and practices, people firmly believe, like, oh, you're born into this, no one else can practice or learn what it is we do.
I don't believe in that. I don't believe in initiations. I don't believe you have to be Italian to practice Strega. It's like you don't have to be Cuban to practice Cuban Santeria.
Yeah.
To me, that's nonsense.
Yeah.
In my mind, certain religions are going to die because of that. Because a lot of the people don't want to do it anymore.
Yeah.
And then you have outsiders. Yeah, you have outsiders that want to practice and want to learn, that will keep a tradition going. And you have people that are saying you can't do this and you can't do that. You have to be initiated. You have to do this. I don't believe in that.
Yeah.
Some Italians do believe in that. There's some secrets that will not be passed down because of that.
So I know he has a couple altars laid out here in this room, and I think what we're going to do is just quickly go through each one. He'll talk a little bit about...
Go through some of our tools first.
Our tools, what he uses, the type of deities that each of the altars represent, and yeah.
Many witches have an athame or a ritual knife. I think it's kind of cool to have an athame. Not necessary. In Strega tradition, it would have been the bread knife. That would have been your athame. Because it cuts bread. It's your life, food. Another thing would have been the wand. We don't use a wand in Strega. We use what we call the mattarello, which is a rolling pin. Back in ancient times, a lot of Italian witches survived the Inquisition because they just used tools within their house, what they had to use. So,
I find that very interesting.
Well, because what is a wand?
A stick.
It's a stick. It's an extension of your energy. You don't have to use a wand, a mattarello, a rolling pin. You can use your finger.
Right.
And a lot of people, you have to have this and this and this. No, you don't. You don't have to have anything.
Yeah, because the way I learned about what a wand is it's a tool, but pretty much all it is an extension of you.
Exactly.
It just amplifies what you already have.
This is a very small one. In Italy, mattarellos are could be about 6 feet long.
Wow.
That's for that. Again, we have the cornuto. There's also one called the monocornuto, which is a hand down or a hand like this, which is the horns of Pan. Same. Candles, of course, of many different various colors. I don't look at certain colors for certain things. I could use a black candle for love, a black candle for employment, a white candle for cursing and hexing. It doesn't matter the color of a candle to me.
Right, because what I was taught is like each specific ritual you do has to have a certain color.
No,
but then later on,
the intent and energy that you put into that candle. It doesn't matter the color.
I realized that it's more about the intent.
Exactly.
Because a candle can be just a candle color. It's about the energy you're putting into it.
The chili pepper is a great hex and curse removal, but it can also bring curses and hexes upon somebody.
Right.
The Strega can harm and the Strega can heal. We don't have good witches nor bad witches. We're in a very balanced state of mind. We also use the tarot cards, which in real Strega, they would have used playing cards. 5 of diamonds and stuff like that. We use a lot of beeswax because beeswax is pure. To the Greeks, like lemon balm. Okay, so that's called Melissa officinalis, bees. So sacred to Diana.
I like using beeswax candles because they burn quicker.
They do, and they smell nice. We do use a lot of salt, but salt would not be on your altar in Strega.
No, why is that?
Because salt neutralizes any energy, good or bad. I'm not going to put energy into a spell and then throw salt on it and let it. Salt is just so neutral. We use an herb called rue, Ruda graveolens, or in Spanish traditions they call it ruda.
Yep.
It's a great hex breaker. It's in some parts of Italy they cook with it. Garlic also sacred to Hecate, who is one of my matron goddesses. We do use some stones, but that's new. That's new, very new age. Old Stregas didn't have witch shops. They couldn't go buy their rose quartz bowl.
Right.
You know what I mean? So they would have used rocks from outside or dirt. Let's see what else here. So I have 3 deities here that I work with. This is Ceres, the goddess of agriculture and abundance.
Mm-hmm. That one over there.
Yep, that's Persephone's mother. I have a Celtic version of the horned god, who is Pan, Herne. That's actually a statue of Cernunnos, same god. Mm-hmm. It's just different. That's Hecate over there in her depiction of the 3. She's a triple goddess.
Yeah.
Goddess of the crossroads. She opens doors for people. She can also knock you down. And I work with them on a daily basis. Certain rituals, if you want to call it, would have certain deities involved. Mm-hmm. But for me, my matron or female energy and my patron male energy is Hecate and Pan.
Yeah.
They work very well together. We also honor Jupiter and Juno, who is the Roman version of Zeus and Hera. I don't work with them inside because their energy is so strong. Mm-hmm. When I invoke them or work with them, it would be outdoors with a fire or incense. Something outside. Now, Hecate is one of the only gods, or goddesses, I should say, that I work with that's a chthonic deity who can be worshipped on land, on the sea, in the sky, or underground. She's also the patroness of the dead. She guards the gates of the underworld.
Okay.
She also opens the gates for Persephone when it's time for her to go back to Hades or Vulcan. Mm-hmm. Or Pluto, as they call him in the Roman deity names. Okay, so this is my main altar in the house. This is where 95% of my workings happen. It is the goddess Hecate on the left side, and the god Pan on the right side. A very much of a Wicca setup, if you notice. The female side and the male side has nothing to do with that. It's just how it panned out for me. This is also where I leave my offerings. Pomegranates are very sacred in my tradition. Garlic, apples. There's also a lot of animal parts. If you look, there's deer antlers, there's a fox skull, chicken feet. Chicken feet stolen by, hoodoo and voodoo. There's a very big Strega thing, an European thing. I also have, there's a jaw of a coyote here, a lot of feathers, because I'm an air sign, and a lot of crystals. Again, crystals weren't used ancient times, but they work for me now.
Yeah, it's kind of cool how throughout history people adapt to different things and become a little bit more modern.
And if
but still keep it within their traditional
Exactly. And if
practice.
we look above my main altar, there's also a Catholic deity, or the Virgin Mary, who is also very, very big in our tradition. Patron saints. So where I'm from in Italy, it's the Virgin Mary, and it's La Madonna della Civita, who we still celebrate today every July. Every Strega will have their own saint also involved in their practice.
Oh, that's cool.
So it's very, very
similar to Santeria, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. Now, I noticed the pomegranate.
Pomegranates are sacred to Persephone, the underworld, the dead. Mm-hmm. And we just passed the stereotypical Samhain.
Yep.
Which I call Shadowfest. Shadowfest
really cool.
is the Italian version of Samhain. And Shadowfest does not just happen on the 31st of October. It goes from a few days before to a week or two after the 31st. So we're still in the midst of that.
Okay.
I do use a lot of black candles, you're going to notice, because black is all colors to me. Mm-hmm. It's nothing negative about a black candle.
Yeah, because I was going to go back to the pomegranate again, because I do a lot of tarot, and I noticed in a few of the major cards that the pomegranate was a symbolism of fertility.
Of fertility and abundance. And this time of year, it's the harvest season.
So that makes sense. Yeah, because I noticed that the pomegranate's also over near Pan, but then I was like, oh, that could represent abundance.
Pan is an earth deity, so I would give him, in the spring, daffodils, because he's out in the fields, honey, anything sweet, booze. A lot of wine is offered on my altar. And on Hecate's side, there's a lot of darker things like garlic. I would also offer her animal, I don't kill animals, for the record, animal bloods from meats or something like that. I would give her raw meats and fish as offerings also. I would prick my own finger and give her my own blood also.
That's interesting.
But again, back in Roman times, they would have killed animals for these deities, but we don't do that today.
What do we have here?
This is the leftover from my ancestral altar, which I'm just starting to phase out for the season. I do have a permanent ancestral altar, which is smaller in the house. This is just for a shadow fest. This is, we left a lot of food here and stuff like that, so when the ancestors came to visit. It's very similar to the Mexican Day of the Dead.
Dia los Muertos?
I think that's what they call it. We call it Shadow Fest or El Giorno del Muerte, Day of the Dead. Rosemary is very big for us for that time of year. It's remembrance and cleansing. And these are some of my ancestors here.
This is really cool. I'm adopted, so I don't really have a specific altar that has specific pictures on it, because I obviously don't know half of my family side.
I'm 80% European Italian, and the rest I'm English through my mom's side, but it's mostly Italians.
It's really cool. Now, how long do you keep this up for?
I'm starting to phase it out, so I'm going to start cleaning it up, and maybe this week we'll dismantle.
Okay. Now, what's the importance of the mirror?
A mirror is a portal. That was actually a gift. And it's just a portal from the other world.
Okay.
I will heavily cleanse that once this is clean, because I don't want to keep their spirits here. They can get trapped in the mirror.
Yeah. Now, how do you go about cleansing the mirror?
I use Florida water. I'm a New Age witch. But in older times, they would have used bleach. They would have used white vinegar. They would have made a salt water solution. There's just many different ways of cleansing. There's no one right or wrong answer.
So this is what the ancestral altar looks like during the day. And then I will also insert a clip of what it looks like during the night. Well, guys, there you have it. Alex, thank you so much for letting us get a glimpse into your practice.
You're very welcome anytime.
Cool. Well, guys, if you have any questions or comments, make sure to hit them down below in the comments section, and we will try and get back to you with anything else that we have.
Strega related.
Exactly. Make sure to hit like and subscribe below. Catch you guys later.